And hey, you know Mike McDaniel as well as anyone. So what changes, if any, did you see from him going from a coordinator to a head coach? And early on this offseason, do you see any changes or growth going into a second year for him leading a team?
Yeah, I know, last year being his first time giving the play calls, also being his first time being a head coach. And, there's some things that I noticed, in regards to Mike and his personality with the whole scheme of football. But as of now, man, it's like he's totally locked in. He got his feet wet. That's how every coach approaches it. Being a first-time coach, you test in the waters a little bit. But now that he's settled down, I believe that he's going to start making some moves in a way that's going to, shock the world.
So as far as I'm concerned, Raheem Mostert officially ended the Dalvin Cook rumors. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with me, but when you watch this video, the theme of what I'm trying to say is Dalvin Cook is not coming to the Miami Dolphins. Now, of course, I don't have a crystal ball. I could be proven wrong at any moment. But when you hear what Raheem Mostert says here in this interview from yesterday, I believe, I think you're going to come away with the similar conclusion that Dalvin Cook, the rumor, it's a pipe dream, it's not happening. Raheem Mostert is going to be the guy in the running back room. So without further ado, let's get to Raheem Mostert and his media availability yesterday. In cut one, Raheem talks about the speed that Devon Achane, I say his name however I feel like it, is bringing to the running back room of the Miami Dolphins. Let's go to cut one.
I wanted to get your reaction on the Dolphins selecting Devon Achane in the third round and adding even more speed to this offense.
Yeah, it's exciting. You get to get a young guy in there, be able to help him out and stuff like that in this offense, and just teach him the ways of what it takes to be a pro. That's the most important thing, and also try to help utilize and try to help us win games. That's the ultimate goal, right? You want a player that comes in and understands his value and hopefully he's able to contribute in the way that he feels it suits him best.
So what you hear right off the bat is Raheem Mostert is taking a mentorship role in bringing Devon Achane into the Miami Dolphins running back room. He's going to take it upon himself to show this young kid what it's like to be a pro running back. Let's continue.
There's a lot of work to be done, and I know that he's going to be excited when, especially coming in the room with a bunch of guys that are well established in this offense. So,
and I think that's a big key. Devon Achane is coming into a room of established veterans. They're already there. They've been there. They know how Mike McDaniel's system is running. Raheem Mostert, he's been with Mike McDaniel since he was at San Francisco. So he really knows, and he's going to take it upon his shoulders to go ahead and show young Devon, how to succeed in Mike McDaniel's system. So now I'm going to jump into cut two. In cut two, he talks about how the speed of the existing running backs along with Achane are going to impact the Miami Dolphins offense. Let's go to cut two.
Quick follow-up. So what kind of possibilities do you see for this offense with the amount of the insane speed with his addition along with you, Jalen and Tyreek?
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much have a 4x1 team and just us four guys. And, it's going to bring a whole different dynamic to this offense. You get guys that can go out there and run routes. You get guys that can, separate themselves in the pass game and then ultimately in the run game. It's very dynamic. And for you to be able to, like I said, go out there and do those things, man, it's going to be a mismatch all across the board.
So I'm wondering if that was a little Freudian slip, that the passing, the receiving, and the separation of the receivers, even the running back coming out to catch passes, was a bit of a priority when he talked to Mike McDaniel, because that was the first thing he talked about, getting out in space and separating. So here in cut 3, which we're about to see, he talks about the running back room and the mindset of the running backs in the room. And he also mentions Coach Eric Studesville, who is the running backs coach. Listen very closely here.
On the flip side of the drafting a running back, how nice is it to be back with Jeff and get the whole running back unit from the end of last season returning?
Man, it was honestly, that's the most exciting thing. You know, I was having talks with Stews about, you know,
Stews meaning Eric Studesville.
For free agency, and I was like, hey man, you know what'll be nice is if we're able to get everybody back in this building, in this room, because you know the chemistry is just unmatched in any other.
Okay, listen to what he said and understand why I believe Dalvin Cook is not coming. The chemistry. That's what he said. The chemistry of the running back room is unmatched. We know that Mike McDaniel is a strong advocate for chemistry. He wants his guys to all mesh together. I don't think, based upon what I'm hearing here, that he feels that Dalvin Cook would come in and help that chemistry. Raheem Mostert just talked about how happy he was that all 4 guys got brought together, and he spoke to the running backs coach, and he is featuring, he's prominently talking about the chemistry in the room. Let's continue.
Place that I've been a part of, you know, there's a lot of guys in this room that, you know, really want to be great. There's a lot of guys that want to go out there and put their best foot forward, and that just makes you, and I'm speaking in regards to me, it makes me want to go out there and play my best.
The chemistry in the room is what incentivizes him to want to go out there and play his best. Do you want to upset that chemistry by bringing in another guy who's already taken on a mentorship role with the rookie? I don't think so. I really don't.
And put my best foot forward. So to be able to have, you know, Jeff, Savon, Miles, John, Lovett, and Alec, we're all in this thing together, you know.
We're all in this thing together. These guys have already bonded. They already know what direction they're going to take. They already know how they're going to bring in young A-Chain and bring him as part of the offense and mentor him. These guys have already been talking. They've already put together their plan for this year, and that chemistry is solid. So I don't think you bring in Dalvin Cook at all and upset that.
It's definitely exciting, and I just can't wait.
So what do you think? I mean, do you think that from what you've heard thus far, and there's more, that he's going to bring in Dalvin Cook and upset the chemistry of these guys? I don't think so. So here we go. In the next cut, we're going to be talking about something that he said that made a bunch of us go, what is he talking about? He's talking about Mike McDaniel shocking the world. What does that mean? I have no idea. Maybe it is a Dalvin Cook trade. Who knows? But I've never heard a running back say that his coach was about to shock the world. Listen in really closely.
And hey, you know Mike McDaniel as well as anyone. So I wanted to know, now that you're a bit removed from last season, what changes, if any, did you see from him going from a coordinator to a head coach? And early on this offseason, do you see any changes or growth going into a second year for him leading a team?
Yeah, I know, you know, last year being his first time giving the play calls, also being his first time being a head coach. And, you know, there's some things that I noticed, you know, in regards to Mike and his personality with the whole scheme of football. But as of now, man, it's like he's totally locked in. He, you know, he got his feet wet. You know, that's how every coach approaches it. You know, being a first-time coach, you test in the waters a little bit. But now that he's settled down, I believe that he's going to start making some moves in a way that's going to, you know, shock the world. It's not going to be.
Mike McDaniel is going to start making some moves that shocks the world. But he's about to say, not going to be shocking to him.
Shocking for me because I know what he can do.
All right, so here's a guy. I mean, think about this. Here's a guy who just said that the coach is going to shock the world, but it's not going to be shocking to him because he knows what Mike McDaniel is capable of. And you want to get rid of this guy or put him into a second slot position and bring in Dalvin Cook? I don't think so. I think everybody's been chirping. Nobody knows what the team is doing. Sure, McDaniel could be a liar. Chris Greer can be a liar. I posted a video last week of Chris Ballard from the Indianapolis Colts said GMs and coaches are all liars. But this is a player. And this is a player saying, hey, man, we're all in. We're locked in. We've got great chemistry. Mike is going to shock the world. Not going to shock me because I know what he can do. But he's going to shock you people. So I can't imagine what that might be.
You know, that's why I'm along this journey with him. But,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting him, but just the little words that he's saying. Understand this is a guy who's been in the league for nine years, who understands sitting in front of the media. You have to couch your terms, have to watch your words. And did you hear what he just said? Let me see if I can push that back a few seconds. Hold on. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So I'm gonna play that once again.
Start making some moves in a way that's gonna, you know, shock the world. It's not gonna be shocking for me because I know what he can do. You know, that's why I'm along this journey with him. But it's gonna be a lot.
I'm along this journey with him. I am with him. I'm going to take this journey with Mike McDaniel, and that's the only reason I'm here. He just said that. That's why I'm here, because I'm going to take this journey with him. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and do any prophetizing or preaching to you, but we're talking about Raheem Mostert, who's an extremely spiritual man, a huge Christian man who's got a lot of faith. And the words he just said is, I'm here because I'm going to take this journey with Mike McDaniel. To me, that means a lot. Maybe not to you guys, but it sounds like, hey, listen, I've given you my word. I'm getting behind you. I have full faith in you. Oh, yeah, but we're going to bring in Dalvin Cook and demote you. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. I would be shocked. That would be the shock to the world if he brought in Dalvin Cook and got rid of Raheem Mostert or demoted him. Saying that he's taken his journey with him and that he's known this guy and he sees him locked in and that everything points to him shocking the NFL world. I can't imagine what he's got planned. I mean, I don't know what kind of stuff he's cooking up in the laboratory, but it sounds like he's got Raheem Mostert completely sold, completely bought in on what he's going to be doing. Now, this next cut is probably, to me, being a former offensive lineman, this cut right here probably is the most shocking thing I've heard about the Miami Dolphins in this offseason. Let's listen to this as he talks about the offensive line.
The fact that we have this O-line that, you know, they start hitting their stride towards the end of the year and then moving into the offseason, getting his second year up under them. I mean, prime example, I look at Connor Williams. To take a guy like him, you know, he moved from being a left guard out in Dallas to, you know, moving to center for the first time in his career.
Now, that's huge. That is extremely huge. You're taking someone whose career has been in one position, you're asking him to play another position, and you're asking him to do it basically trial by fire. He didn't have any experience playing center. All of a sudden, he becomes a center. We saw some of the bad snaps and the high snaps that he had basically throughout the whole season, and now he's had a year to adjust, and that's what Raheem is referring to.
And then having to learn his offense, making the right calls, and now it just...
Okay, so understand, as much as Tua, when he's standing at the line and he's making his reads and what he has to do, the director of the offensive line is normally the center. And at that point, he's making calls too. He's telling Eichenberg and he's telling the tackles, he's telling everybody what the blocking scheme is going to be for a particular play based upon the stunts and alignment of the defense. Did you know that? Did you know that the center actually makes those kinds of calls? Being a former center, I can tell you that's 100% true. And if you haven't played center and you're in a new offense, imagine those challenges. So, second year, knowing the play, studying film, making those calls.
I feel like he's gonna take himself up to another notch, just simply because he understands the offense a lot better. So if you got that chemistry right there, everything starts up front. If those guys up front.
Notice that word again. When I watched him make this press conference, I was stunned. That word again, chemistry up front. You know, we've all been upset with the offensive line. And even myself, I didn't even consider the fact that a couple of these guys have never played in this system. They have never played with Mike McDaniel. They came in from the other regime. One guy was out of position completely. He was a guard and he was asked to play center. And now that chemistry is strong.
You know, can make it happen, then we're going to be in good hands. And as of right now, they're all locked in, especially with Frank being there to help them. And then we also got Butch as well. So I know Butch. I'm very familiar with Butch out in San Fran. So he's going to have them boys over there, you know, he's going to get them right.
So here's a guy who has to run behind this offensive line, who is showing nothing but confidence. And Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator, and Butch Barry, the new offensive line coach. He's got no doubt that these guys are going to be ready to perform come this NFL season. That, to me, is something that's very revealing. You've got the running back, the guy who's got to take the ball and hit the holes, who's saying, yeah, these guys are ready. Their chemistry is on point. They've learned the offense. They've learned the calls. Maybe no more whiffing by Eichenberg. Maybe he knows if he hears the call, here's what you're supposed to do. They've had a year in the system. They're going to have 6 months of preparation before the season after, you know, bowing out in the playoffs. And now he's looking extremely confident, saying they're locked in, and Butch Barry is going to have these guys ready. There's a new thought. Maybe we've missed that part. Maybe we've missed the part that their coaching sucked last year. Maybe we missed the part that nobody helped them acclimate to a new system. Maybe we missed the part where they were missing the offensive line calls because the center, Connor, wasn't ready for what he was seeing as well. All of these things lend to an offensive line being more proficient. We'll see, but he seems very confident. Now in cut 6 here, Raheem Mostert is going to talk about Mike McDaniel making an apology to him because of not calling enough running plays last year. Understand that. A coach apologizing to a player, basically saying, I screwed up. Check this out.
Coach McDaniel told us at the owners' meetings, and you'll like this, he said, we didn't run enough. Has he told you guys that? And do you think that y'all really are going to run more this year?
Yeah. You know, I had a talk with him during the exit interviews at the end of the season. And, you know, one thing that he was like very, you know, apologetic about was the fact that we didn't run enough.
I don't know if you guys realize how huge that is. A coach came down to a player's level and said, dude, I apologize. You had 4.9 yards per carry. Jeff Wilson had 4.7 yards per carry behind this makeshift offensive line. And I didn't stick with the run enough. I apologize.
And that he was going to do his best to change that for the upcoming year. So, you know, when he talks like that, it just gets me fired up even more. Like, hey, I know I'm getting the ball a little bit more.
When he talks like that, it gets me fired up. And there's so many people who think that they want to bring in Dalvin Cook and upset this running back room. You see the smile on this guy's face? You see the energy? You see the excitement? I wanted to stop here because look at his face. He has talked to this coach. This coach has said, I apologize, bro. You guys have great chemistry. I didn't stick behind you enough. That's my fault. But hey, listen, we're going to bring in Dalvin Cook because the fans want him. I don't think so.
The running back room is going to get the ball a little bit more in regards to touches. So, yeah, I mean, it's a thriller, man. I'm excited, and I truly can't wait for that.
I'm excited, and I truly can't wait for that. Well, Raheem, I hate to break it to you. That's not going to happen. I know I apologized to you last year, but I'm the head coach, and I think at this point, even though you did 4.9 yards per carry last year, I'm going to bring in Dalvin Cook and kind of upset the chemistry, but you guys will get over it. And we're probably going to get rid of one of your buddies. I don't know which one, but we're going to get rid of one of them. And so we have room and money for Dalvin Cook. That makes sense to you? That makes sense to anyone? Is anybody watching? Is anyone paying attention to what this guy just said in this interview? Did the reporters even catch it? Because I would have been the next day, if I was Barry Jackson, hey, Dalvin Cook is a pipe dream. We don't need him. We got a 4.9 yards per carry back, and we have a 4.7 yards per carry back behind him, and we have an offensive line that's developing. What do we need to upset the chemistry of the room and get rid of one of these guys and bring in Dalvin Cook? Is he going to do more than 4.9 yards per carry? Is he all of a sudden going to turn into Superman? No, we already got the backs. Stop with the talk about Dalvin Cook. All right, I'm off my soapbox. So in this next cut 7, he's going to be talking about the draft. And there's a couple nuggets in here that I want you guys to take a listen to.
Hi, Raheem.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to see you. I realize this might just be unique to the quarterback position, but sometimes you'll hear stories about coaches telling their starting quarterback before a draft, don't be surprised if we draft a quarterback. Did that happen with Mike, with you, or with Jeff? Did he tell you at all before the draft, hey, we might draft a running back, don't be surprised, or has he said anything about it after the draft?
No, he didn't mention anything about, draft.
He didn't mention anything about drafting A-Chain. So why didn't he tell him about A-Chain being drafted? Because he didn't need to. Number one, he probably didn't know he'd be available. Number two, he's not going to be competing for the starting job initially. He's going to need Raheem and Jeff Wilson to mentor this kid, show him the offense, tell him what things are all about, build the chemistry. He wasn't bringing him in going, hey, listen, we're bringing in this guy to compete with you guys, so I just want you to know. It's no big deal. No big deal at all. That's how I take it.
After the running back. And, honestly, I look at the draft, as a way for, the future.
The future. He's already relegated A-Chain to the future. This isn't something that's going to happen this year. He's going to have to learn this offense. He'll get some reps. He'll play somewhat, but he's not going to be part of the actual offense moving forward. Maybe he's going to do some return work, some special teams work, but you can just tell by Raheem's demeanor. I'm not worried.
Which is awesome. That's what you want in an organization. But in regards, I'm an undrafted guy, so I really don't pay attention all that much to it.
Did you guys know that? Did you know this 9-year vet who's been with the 49ers and a couple other teams was an undrafted free agent when he got into the league? He came out of Purdue undrafted, and he's lasted 9 years. So he's like, hey, I don't pay attention to the draft. Doesn't matter to me.
I just see when we get the picks or whatever. And, but no, it's exciting, though, because like I said, you always want to see young guy make it and do his best and stuff like that. And, he needs some guidance at some point. So
he needs some guidance at some point. We're bringing in a Class A running back, everybody says, but he's going to need some guidance. He didn't say coaching. He didn't say mentoring. He said guidance. I have to help build this young man. My job as a senior running back is to help build this young man, bring him some chemistry, let him know what the league is all about. He couldn't have a better mentor. This guy is locked in on helping this young man. Especially
early on, and I'm willing and able to do those things for him. So
I'm willing and able to help him. That's a strong statement, and I admire Raheem Mostert for what he just said. So with everything you heard, with everything he just said in that interview, the chemistry, being locked in, excited, the apology he received, you really think Dalvin Cook is coming here? You really think they're going to upset the entire apple cart because the fans want Dalvin Cook? No. That ain't happened. I could be proven wrong. They could sign Dalvin Cook tomorrow, and I'm sure everybody will let me know. Barry, you were wrong. But I know people. I know there's a lot of people out there go, oh, you don't know ball. You don't know ball. Shut up. I know people. And if Mike McDaniel is the genuine person that we've seen him to be, and you've seen the face of Raheem Mostert, who's agreed to come in and take that journey with Mike McDaniel, and he wants to help him shock the world, and he's talked about the chemistry of the team. Do you really think, honestly, come on, just be serious about this. Do you really think that he's going to bring in Dalvin Cook and basically blow that apart? Every move that Mike McDaniel has been making along with Chris Greer, if you believe in him, is because he's trying to solidify the focus, trying to solidify the core of this team. And Dalvin Cook may be a great running back, but he's already got that core, that chemistry in the running back room. I don't see him upsetting that apple cart whatsoever, but I'm sure you may have another opinion. You always do. Let me know. Fins up.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?